here in Paris. We're going to send it down to Shocks.
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys. Joined here by Steak from the Flash Wolves after a fantastic victory over the KOO Tigers. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, an amazing game from your side. You guys went for a poke composition,
Yeah.
which is hard to execute. Tell me why this versus the KOO Tigers.
Because we have Gangplank in the mid, so playing a poke comp is a lot easier. Yeah, and Neverlose, his main is Varus. So we're pretty confident with that comp.
Yeah, we know that is his main champion, and it's quite interesting because Kramer got put on the side and NL got put in. Tell me what happened kind of in your team after yesterday coming into today.
Oh, we prepared NL for this match earlier, so it has nothing to do with yesterday, yeah.
All right, very interesting. You guys definitely showed up. You actually had two very good games both today and yesterday, and you're quite the underdog coming into these matchups, especially versus someone like Smeb. How do you deal with that? Because it seems like you're just doing fantastically.
Well, it's pretty easy to go in the game knowing that I'm going to be the only one to troll our team. Yeah, so like Maple's going to carry me no matter what, and NL's going to carry me no matter what, so it's pretty easy, yeah.
Well, that's a nice way to look at it. Finally, now that you have this victory and you've seen what happens in the group, how high do you rate your chances for getting out of the group and getting into the next round?
I think we're going to make it through, like, I don't know, I think very high.
You can be confident. This was a fantastic win. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Steak.
Thank you.
Some more insight. We're going to go back over to the guys at the desk.
Thank you, Shocks. And yes, a very solid win for them. I do want to kind of work through this one incrementally because I think there's value in going step by step. So starting in pick and ban, Yamato, I feel like some people looking at the composition that was drafted by Flash Wolves would initially have some fear of the double melee, triple AD comp that was drafted and how it might play out throughout the game.
For sure. Like, I've been talking so much about Darius' strengths, and I feel like poke composition kind of forces the enemy team to walk into you, and Gangplank and Darius is just perfect in those scenarios. And KOO Tigers' composition didn't really have enough engage to kind of cut inside that team composition.
I don't know if I feel like they didn't necessarily have enough engage. I feel that it was misplayed. Smeb, who is normally a very good Gnar player, KOO Tigers are very good around playing around the Fury management on Gnar. It was just bad this game.
It was terrible.
And he was teleporting even for some of these endgame fights with very little Fury. They were trying to engage from the front. It's not going to work in this composition, right? You have a form of engage with Alistair. You can follow it up with Lulu. The other thing about this draft that I find curious is that Prey is not really a Jinx player. And I've seen him playing it in solo queue, but I really wasn't impressed by his Jinx play in this particular game.
Yeah, and honestly, you have to kind of see this coming, too, in the pick ban phase. When they put in NL, we know he's a Varus player. You look at Karsa, most banned champion against Flash Wolves is Nidalee, banned 19 times during their season.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, yes, I think that's definitely very valid. And if you're KOO, are the Rek'Sai and Gragas bans really worth it to leave up GP, Darius, and a pocket pick Nidalee for Karsa? They just looked a little unprepared, a little sloppy here. I think their gameplay in the early game was quite good, though.
Well, so some stumbling there on the side of KOO. But to your point in the pregame about, you know, actually looking at Flash Wolves' draft, as you felt that was one of their weaker points in their game against CLG. They made many improvements playing to the strengths of the different players on their team. However, now I want to move into the early game. Let's go 0 to 15 minutes because what we saw immediately was dictating across the map by KOO the way that this game was going to be played.
Yeah, and I think they had a very good read on what they were going to do in these lanes. Giving up that first blue buff over to Lulu allowed them to put this immense pressure onto the mid turret. They took it down very quickly, and we saw a scenario where KOO was up 5-2, looked like they were very comfortably in control of this game. But instead of getting the vision and then setting up the engages by using TP, they decided to sort of awkwardly fight straight on, and you can't fight this composition that the Flash Wolves are running from the front only. That's just not going to work. It's too easy to kite.
Yeah,
I have to disagree with you. I think the composition, it was just so polarized. I think that, sure, the TP engage, it worked once for the Gnar, but when the TP was down and the Lee Sin tries to engage, it's so hard to do that against the Morgana. It's very hard to catch people with Lee Sin when the Morgana is on the enemy team.
But you can always run them around the map. We saw them taking dragons out from underneath the poke because they could get through the dragons so quickly. So there are ways to move around the map and take objectives while you're waiting for the teleport to come back up. But even when the teleport was up, it was used badly by the KOO Tigers. It was not used right.
Zyrene, I want to look at where the game then changed, shifted gears. At about 16 minutes, we saw a play from Sword Art in the bot lane, coming back as the turret was dying, flash in, ultimate, it completely changed the pace of the game. Up until that point, Flash Wolves have been on the back foot. This was the first kind of active move that they had made in the game to say, we're going to do something about slowly losing.
Yeah, they kept getting so much out of the bottom lane, too. The TP coming down here from Stake, and then that's a TP that you cancel on Smeb's side. You cancel that TP, and then you continue to push out your top lane, and you might get a turret for that. But instead, goes over to Flash Wolves. They're able to group up under this turret. They take it, and they get to push this down. Big win there for them. And this was a lane that, coming into it, you said, thank God the NL is in here instead of Kramer. It ended up being, thank God for that, because they just kept pushing the lane in, causing so much pressure, getting constant cleanses out over and over again, which gives Sword Art this opportunity to go in and make plays like this and put pressure onto them. So Prey and Gorilla were kind of locked down into that lane.
Yeah, and I'm wondering where you go in the future here. Do you ban Varus Sivir and then the Nidalee and then say really force them to mix it up and maybe put NL onto an AD carry that he's very uncomfortable on? Because I just remember, seeing this guy at IEM and he was so underwhelming. Yeah. I was just...
Well, it's an interesting thought, the fact that they have shown up here and said, hey, look, there's a composition, there's a style that we're entirely comfortable to play. It's going to force all the rest of these teams mid-group stage to adjust the way they approach Pig Ban against this team.
But I think the biggest issue in this draft was that, KOO perfectly lined it up for them to pick a poke composition. They had the poor engage and the matchup just kind of lined up perfectly just because, the matchups were good on the side of course, Flash Wolves.
All right, well, there's one score left to settle today in Group A. Don't go anywhere because CLG takes on Pain Gaming when we return.
Both teams looking strong. KOO maybe favored, but anything can happen here at Worlds.
Flash use Sword Art trying to dredge things out. Maybe enough with the rockets out as well. Prey will flash, but GP already gets first one onto Alistar. It's good. Barrel does get it. Smeb jumps in with a flash ulti, but Carter's already taken out Prey. Smeb will flash out. They're going to keep moving. It stakes. To go in. Goes in with the wild growth sound. Doesn't quite go for the ulti. Flash ulti zone is there at stake. Dunks Smeb. As oh my god, Prey. He's going in, but he gets cut down by Nidalee. KOO Tigers too far behind. Can't do anything. What is up with the upsets?